How you doing? I got a question for you. When can a good habit become a bad thing? Stay tuned. We're going to talk about that. This is Larry Hunter coming at you to bring you words that encourage and thoughts that inspire. You know, we all have habits. We have good habits and we have bad habits. We're all familiar with habits, And, for example, I guarantee you that there's probably a certain way that you, let's say, brush your teeth every day. You probably have never even thought about it. But, I mean, like me, I start up here. Let me see here. And I work on around here. And I forget what else I do. See, I hadn't even really thought about it, but I know it's the same way I do it every day unless something comes up, and one of my teeth is hurting or whatever. But there's a habit, a particular way that I brush my teeth every day. And you too. There's a particular way I put my shoes on. I always put my left foot in. I put my left foot out. Wait, I'm sorry. We're not doing the hokey pokey. My bad. Okay. I always put my left foot into my left shoe first. And then afterwards, I put my right foot into my right shoe first. Whether you're going to school in the morning or you're going to work, I would dare to say that there's a certain way that you go to work every day. I mean, that's just what you do. That's just the way we go to work, go to work, go to work. This is the way we do it. Okay? Why? Because it's a habit. And you do it so frequently, whenever you got to go to work, this is the route to take. You do it so frequently that you don't even think about it. I have actually thought about times that I've gotten to work and gotten into my parking space, and I couldn't even recall the whole trip there. Man, I was tuned out. I was praising the Lord. I was doing something, other than paying attention to every road and every turn and every time I got to stop at a stoplight, all of that. Why? Because it was a habit. And it was a good habit serving me. Going back and forth to work, I get to check out and think on something else while I'm driving to get to work. So habits are a good thing. So you're probably wondering that question that I ask you, when can a good habit become a bad thing? Well, let me tell you about a story in John chapter 4. John chapter 4. Jesus and the crew, they were down in Judea, and they were going to head up to Galilee. To get to Galilee, they had to go north. And what was between Judea and Galilee was Samaria. The Samaritans and the Jews, they was not on good terms. They was hating on each other. They were prejudiced of each other. They didn't want to have anything to do with each other. They didn't want to talk to each other. They didn't want to even see each other. So the Jews over time developed this habit that whenever they had to go north to get into Galilee from Judea, then they would actually go east and go way across the Jordan River, and then they'd head north, because that way they could bypass the Samaritans. It's kind of like, we got a highway around here called Highway 70, and you got the Highway 70 bypass or Highway 70 business. If you take the bypass, then you'll just avoid the whole city and everything that's got to do with the city. Well, that's what the Jews had become accustomed to doing, because they ain't want to have nothing to do with them Samaritans. So John chapter 4 verse 3 says, talking about Jesus, says he left Judea and departed again to Galilee. But he needed to go through Samaria. He needed to go through Samaria. Let me break it on down for time's sake. Even though it was a habit for him to travel that same route, just like the Jews did, to get up to Galilee from Judea so they can avoid Samaria, this one particular time, God impressed on his heart to do things in a different way. He impressed on his heart, this time I want you to go into Samaria. Wow. So Jesus obeyed. He followed that impression. He went into town, and to make a long story short, man, he met this woman at the well, and he ministered to her, and she ended up believing on him. And then she got so excited she ran into town, and she went and told all the folk that she knew in town about this dude, and they came out and heard Jesus, and they believed in him as well. And I was like, man, look at what all God did through Jesus' willingness to veer off of the path, of the habitual path, to follow God's impression. So see, now we're coming on home. When can a good habit become a bad thing? When your good habit causes you to resist God's prompting for you to do something in a different way. When God speaks to your heart and he wants you to do something in a slightly different way than you're accustomed to, what does he meet? Does he find resistance there? Some of us just straight up say, I'm sorry, Lord, I can't do that. We always roll this way. This is the way we're going to do it. This is the way my granddad did this. My great-daddy did this way. We're going to do it this way too. Does he find resistance, or does he find a willingness to obey? Even though it's a good habit, whatever you're doing, it can become bad if when God wants you to do something a bit differently, you're resistant. That's what we're talking about today. Hey, look here, I got a question of the day for you. What's one of the things, well, tell me about a habit that you have, a good habit, or maybe several, and tell me how is it serving you? I mean, we have good habits. Let everybody know about a habit that you have that's, it might be creative, it might be something out of the box, but that is serving you well. All right, so leave me a comment. If this has been a blessing to you, leave me a like, like the video. And remember this always. In Him, you win.